Continuing the story of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. Last week we looked into when Musa alayhi salam became a Nabi of Allah, when he received revelation in the amazing event that took place in the valley of Tuwa. In the valley of Tuwa, where Musa alayhi salam became a Nabi of Allah. And he was sent with a task. And that task was, if brothers, I can ask you please just to keep the noise level down, inshallah, so others can listen. The task that he was sent with was of two things. Primarily to call Pharaoh and all the people to La ilaha illallah, as is the case of all the prophets and messengers. And then the secondary mission was an arsil ma'iya bani Israel. Send forward Banu Israel, whom you have enslaved, whom you have been a tyrant towards. Let them go, let these people go, let them free to be able to go anywhere in the ardullah, in the lands of Allah. طيب. So when Musa alayhi salam, and obviously we discussed the concerns that he had and the dua that he made to Allah Jalla wa Ala. This week we want to look at this actual meeting that took place between Musa alayhi salam and his brother Harun and Pharaoh, this great tyrant that this world has not seen the likes of him before or after. So when Musa alayhi salam, he comes to Pharaoh, he gives his message. Inna Rasulu Rabbil Alameen. We are messengers of Allah. And here he says, Rabbul Alameen, the one who is the Lord of the universe. And arsil ma'ana bani Israel. Send forward Banu Israel, free them from your captivity and your slavery, your enslavement. Let them go free. And here, Pharaoh, what is the first thing that he says to Musa alayhi salam? He wants to put him in a difficult position. He wants to put him in a way where he tries to embarrass him, because he's in front of the mala, he's in front of the rulers and those people who are noble of Egypt, the nobles. And he says, قَالَ أَلَمْ نُرَبِّكَ فِينَا وَلِيدًا. Did we not raise you up as a little boy? Would you not grow up in our household? وَلَبِثْتَ فِينَا مِنْ عُمُرِكَ سِنِينَ. And you stayed with us in your childhood for many years. You grew up with us under my very nose, under my roof, fed by my food. And now you're coming to me with this. And then he says, وَفَعَلْتَ فَعْلَتَكَ الَّتِي فَعَلْتَ وَأَنْتَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. This is Pharaoh speaking to Musa. And he said, you did that act when you killed that man, and how they perceived it to be murder, like he intended it. And we know that it was an accidentally. He did not mean to murder him. He meant to stop the dhulm. And in the process of doing so, he accidentally killed him. But here Pharaoh is making him feel like he is the one who is in wrong. You did that act that you did of killing someone. وَأَنْتَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. And he says to Musa, you are from those who deny the favors. Because you have to remember, Pharaoh is coming from this. He's not being like for example, a loyal father who looked after his son for many years, and now the son becomes rebellious, and the father says innocently, that don't you remember when I looked after you and I fed you and all these things, and now this is how you treat me? Musa hasn't come to him. What has he said? Inna Rasul Rabbil Alameen. He didn't say, Pharaoh, you zalim, you tyrant, you adu Allah. He didn't come with this. He started off as Allah said, فَقُولَ لَهُ قَوْلًا لَيِّنًا. Say soft speech to them. Speak them in kind words. And that's exactly what Musa ﷺ did. Didn't come to them with this rough and tough approach. But this was the narcissistic nature of Pharaoh, who thought that he was the Most High, who thought he was Allah himself. So look at how he says that you are anta min al-kafirin. You are the one who is a kafir, meaning you are denying the favors. You're ungrateful for that which we did for you. That you come to us like this, and this is your history that you have. So here, this is a way of Pharaoh trying to put him on the back foot, trying to embarrass him, and embarrass him with what he's trying to come with. And here, it's worth mentioning something actually that we've not mentioned before. Here, Pharaoh, and we sort of indicated it in the time of when we were talking about Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. And that is that, first of all, which Nabi comes first? Is it Yusuf alayhi salam or Musa alayhi salam? Which one is first? Yusuf alayhi salam is first. And historians, when they look now, because of, with recent discoveries in the last 200 years, many different things, came to our knowledge. things that were not at the time of the Bible, when the Bible and the time of the Quran, when at the time of revelation, these things were not known to humanity. They were lost histories. And that is that Prophet Yusuf ﷺ, he came in the time of ancient Egypt, what was known as somewhere around the Middle Kingdom. They call it the Middle Kingdom. And at the Middle Kingdom, the word Pharaoh, or Para or Pira in the Coptic language, it was referred to as the castle or the palace of the king of Egypt. And they did not refer to the actual ruler of Egypt as Pharaoh. They would refer to him as king. This is that when at the time of Yusuf alayhi salam. Here, why am I mentioning this? Because a lot of times we hear the Quran just followed the Bible, copied the Bible. Stories of the Quran, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, wal-'iyadhu billah, he heard from the Jews and the Christians, and he just copied whatever they said and said in the Quran. But we know that the Quran is muhayminan alayh. It is the one that came to rectify that which was incorrect in the Bible, and came to tell us the reality of things, and came to confirm also. Now, if we look in the story, if it was a case of copying everything, then why didn't, when we look at the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, it was Malik, is the king. It wasn't Pharaoh. Yet in the Bible, what do we find? The title of the king? Pharaoh. In the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, we find the title Pharaoh. Yet now, historically, we know that Pharaoh, or Pera, which is the title that was given, was actually for the palace of the king at the time of Yusuf alayhi salam. It was only at the time of Musa alayhi salam, which is considered the new kingdom, and historically now, they've put it at this time of the new kingdom. And now we know at the new kingdom is when they would refer to the ruler of Egypt as Pira, as Pharaoh or Fir'aun. So here look at the Quran, how accurate the Quran is, that it didn't just copy what the Bible did. The Bible says at the time of Prophet Yusuf, Pharaoh. At the time of Prophet Musa, Pharaoh. Whereas in the Quran there's this distinction. At the time of Yusuf alayhi salam, Malik clearly is the king. And at the time of Musa alayhi salam in the new kingdom, he's referred to as not king but Fir'aun, Pharaoh. So here this is the accuracy of the Quran, and again a debunking of the Jews and Christians or the Orientalists that said that the Muslims just copied the Quran, the Bible, or they copied the story from the Bible. And there are many examples of this that we can give inshallah when we come across them. طيب. One of them as well, actually mentioning here, if you realize here, what did Pharaoh, what did he say? He said, don't you remember when we raised you? Don't remember you were under our nurturing, we're the one who nurtured you and so on. Whereas in the narrative in the Bible is that it was Pharaoh's father. This is the narrative in the Bible. Pharaoh's father is the one who brought up Musa alayhi salam, and then after Musa alayhi salam had fled, he died, and it was his son that was the ruler, and he's the one that had this conversation. Whereas in the Quran, very clear from the conversation, it is talking about Fir'aun himself. He's the one from the start till the very end. So again, this is a difference that is in the Quran that is not found in the Bible. طيب. Moving on, Musa alayhi salam, when he hears this, he says, قَالَ فَعَلْتُهَا إِذَا وَأَنَا مِنَ الضَّالِّينَ. That this action that you tell me about, this killing of the Qibti, the Coptic man, I did it when I was a person who had no guidance from Allah. I was not guided. And then he said, I fled from you as I was fearful of what will happen to me. You guys thought that I intentionally went and murdered. And as it is, being from Banu Israel is not in my favor. Our people we're living in this apartheid system where our people are enslaved. Our people will be punished severely for any little thing that we do. So me accidentally killing a person, that I know that was how it was going to happen. So I fled at that time. And then he said, فَوَهَبَ لِي رَبِّي حُكْمًا وَجَعَلَنِي مِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. But then my Lord, the one who is the creator of the heavens and the earth, he decided that I become a messenger. He's the one who gave me this knowledge and this wisdom that I come with you now. So here is Musa alayhi salam saying to Fir'aun that this is your judgment upon me. That you're a person who has you're ungrateful. You're a person who murdered someone, and you did this and you did that. And Musa alayhi salam, he's saying, Allah has chosen me. Allah knows better of what's in my heart. Allah knows better of my nature. And Allah is the one who chose me with this message. But in a way that it was not perceived to be arrogant. Look, he didn't say, look at your judgment compared to... no, look, he attributed the goodness to Allah. فَوَهَبَ لِي رَبِّي حُكْمًا. My Lord is the one who's gifted me this knowledge. طيب, here, an interesting ayah, because now what is Pharaoh trying to do? He's trying to put Musa a.s. on the back foot, trying to say, you did this, you did that, and now you want to come to us and tell us you're Nabi of Allah? He says, وَتِلْكَ نِعْمَةٌ, Musa a.s. response, وَتِلْكَ نِعْمَةٌ تَمُنُّهَا عَلَيْ أَنْ عَبَّدْتَ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيل. That this is a favor that you want to put on me. You want to like show me up and say, look at what I did for you. And you, what did you do? You enslaved an entire population. You were committing genocide with an entire population. He was massacring, killing babies. So imagine, Musa a.s. is pointing out the fallacy of his thinking. You are butchering babies, يذبحون أبناءكم, killing the babies, ويستحيون نساءكم, and enslaving the women. And now you allow one boy, you let one boy live and live under your household, and you think now that you have done great good, this boy, he comes and he accidentally kills a man. He comes now and he tries to guide you towards your true creator, and you're trying to put it out that he is the one who is oppressive. Wallahi, وَلَن تَجْدَ لِسُنَّةِ اللَّهِ تَحْوِيلًا. You will not find the sunnah of Allah changing with the oppressors. And I'm going to say this point because subhanAllah, it really, the comparison is so amazing. What was happening now in Palestine, when you have this great taghut oppressor, Israel, and they are attacking the Palestinians, and what will they say to you when you say to them, look at what you're doing, over 40,000 you've killed, 75 years of occupation, and what will they say to you? Oh, what about October the 7th? Everything is forgotten, October the 7th. This is the strategy of who? None other than Pharaoh. The strategy of Pharaoh. That we're going to turn a blind eye to all the big dhulm that we've done, the thousands that we've killed, babies that we've actually burnt, killed, your people that we've enslaved, put them in prisons, and occupying their land, not allowing anything to go through. But don't you dare come and tell us about that because October the 7th. Do you condemn October the 7th? This is their approach. Same thing with Pharaoh. Same thing with the tyranny that they have. And just recently they had this ICC arrest warrant that is actually now displaying the hypocrisy of the Western world, to say that we hold ourselves to the international standard and all this. But now when this arrest warrant supposedly has come through, they're all not sure. Should we follow through? Should we follow through with our principles or should we throw them back? But here the point is that I want to mention, which is ajib, is this shaitan, la'anahu Allah, may Allah destroy him. He said, well, how have we done war crimes? We sent so much food into Gaza. So this is just exactly like Pharaoh, what he's saying to Musa. We looked after you, didn't we? We looked after you, ya Musa. The rest of your people, don't worry about them. We killed them, we slaughtered them. But we looked after you, yeah? Don't tell us we bombed you and we killed your children. At least we're giving you some food packages. We're giving you a bit of water. We don't cut off the water all the time. We only cut off it sometimes. Electricity we turn off whenever. Look at the fallacy and the tyranny and the narcissism of the oppressor. And this is something that you'll find throughout history. Wallahu musta'an. And moving on. So here Musa alayhi salam, and this is the point that I wanted to make that is powerful. Musa alayhi salam was not fooled, not duped by Pharaoh with his strategy. He put it on him, put the onus on him. عَبَّدْتَ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيل. You're the one who enslaved Banu Israel. You're the one who killed all these people. And now you're trying to make it out like I am the one who's the bad person. Don't try to make any comparisons like this. Then Pharaoh, he says mockingly, وَمَا رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. And what, not even مَنْ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. He says, وَمَا رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. As if to say that is something that is completely alien to us. What is the Lord of the universe? Not who is the Lord of the universe, because that's what he believes he is. But he's saying, what do you mean, what's this Lord of the universe? What kind of title is this? And look at the tyranny of Pharaoh that it extends not only on the people. You know, Pharaoh, he's not the biggest tyrant because he's somebody who had dhulm upon the people, but it is because his aggression and transgression went to even Allah. فَقَالَ أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى. He said, I am your Lord the Most High. Nobody in history has said this other than Pharaoh, that I am your Lord the Most High. And he said to the people, وَقَالَ فِرْعَوْنُ يَا أَيُّهَا الْمَلَأ مَا عَلِمْتُ لَكُم مِّنْ إِلَهٍ غَيْرِي. That, O people, O noble people, do you know, I do not know of a Lord besides me that you have. Meaning, who else are you going to worship other than me? Look at the level of tyranny and transgression that he has with Allah Jalla wa Ala. So here what does he say in a mocking fashion? He says, وَمَا رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. That, who is this? What is this Lord of the universe? And here Musa alayhi salam, again, why does he say that? Because Musa alayhi salam, when he came, what did he said? Inna Rasulu Rabbil Alameen. We are the messenger of the Lord of the universe. So he is saying, what is this Lord of the universe? Musa alayhi salam, what does he say? He ignores his mockery and how he's trying to tease. He says it as it is. Because why? Other people are listening. Pharaoh is listening and there are other people that are listening. He says, رَبُّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا إِن كُنْتُم مُوقِنِينَ. It is the Lord, he is the Lord of the heavens and the earth and whatever is between them. The one who created all of these things. The one who sustains all of these things. Who else can sustain these things other than Allah Jalla wa Ala? So Pharaoh, he says, قَالَ لِمَنْ حَوْلَهُ. He turns around to the people who are around him, his ministers, advisors, and the noblemen, and he says, أَلَا تَسْتَمِعُونَ. Are you listening to, and again, mockingly, sarcastically, trying to make fun of Musa alayhi salam and make a mockery of him. أَلَا تَسْتَمِعُونَ. Are you even listening to what this guy is saying? As if to say, are you listening to what he's saying? His speech, what he's talking about? And what does Musa alayhi salam respond to? He doesn't care. He's got a mission. He's got a mission of da'wah. He continues talking. رَبُّكُمْ وَرَبُّ آبَائِكُمُ الْأَوَّلِينَ. Here, remember your place. Not only is he your Lord, but he is your Lord and the Lord of your fathers that came before you. And now, here, this is Musa alayhi salam giving that challenge to Pharaoh. That you claim that you are Rabbukum al-A'la. But I am saying that Allah is your Lord and also the Lord of those who came before you. And this is mentioned in the Quran as well, how Allah presents this to those people who deny Allah. أَمْ خُلِقُوا مِنْ غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ أَمْ هُمُ الْخَالِقُونَ. That were they created from nothing? Or are they themselves the creator of themselves? Those who deny Allah, those who deny that Allah created them, did they create themselves? Are you the ones who brought yourselves into existence? We know that is impossible. Nothing can, and look, subhanAllah, if we look in the universe, nothing does this. Nothing brings itself into existence. There has to be something that brings it into existence. أَمْ هُمُ الْخَالِقُ. Are you created from nothing? Have you been created from nothing at all? Again, with your mind, with your intellect, nothing you see in the universe was created from nothing. There could not be nothing and then out from there comes something. This is illogical. Makes no sense. And this is why Allah constantly tells us, أَفَلَا تَتَفَكَّرُونَ. That do you not think, do you not reflect? Do not use that logic that Allah has, the intellect that Allah has given you. So here, subhanAllah, and this is similar to another ayat where Allah mentions again the same story, but in Surah Taha. قال فَمَنْ رَبُّكُمَا يَا مُوسَى. Who is your Lord, O Musa? And Musa alayhi salam says, رَبُّنَا الَّذِي أَعْطَى كُلَّ شَيْءٍ خَلْقَهُ ثُمَّ هَدَى. Subhanallah, look at this amazing description of Allah Jalla wa Ala. Allah is the one who gave every single thing its own personal creation. Meaning everything that we see, whether it's humans, whether it be what we see outside, whether it be things in the universe, Allah gave it its specific physical attributes, gave it its specific chemical or biological, whatever it is, Allah gave it that. ثُمَّ هَدَى. And then Allah, not only did it, He guided it towards it. So subhanAllah, if you look at yourself today, look at yourself in the mirror today, Allah writ down for you to be this person. And ثُمَّ هَدَى. Then you were in your mother's womb, and then your mother gave birth to you, you grew up as a young boy, this happened, that happened, and subhanAllah, you are the person that you are today. Allah guided you to become the person that you are today. So here, look, that's an amazing description that Musa alayhi salam he uses about Allah Jalla wa Ala. And then he says, again corroborating with the ayat that he mentioned before, that Allah created you and your fathers before you, He said, قَالَ فَمَا بَالُ الْقُرُونِ الْأُولَى. Then what is the case with those people who came before us? Meaning, we're only doing what our fathers did. SubhanAllah, even Pharaoh, even with his being the tyrant he is, he couldn't escape the same line of argument that the people before used to use. And what is that? That this is our fathers, our forefathers, they came up with this, and we're only going to follow the religion of our forefathers. So Musa alayhi salam, he simply replied to him, عِلْمُهَا عِنْدَ رَبِّي فِي كِتَابٍ لَا يَضِلُّ رَبِّي وَلَا يَنْسَى. Again, going back to showing the power of Allah Jalla wa Ala, that their knowledge is with Allah. I don't need to tell you about what's happening with them. Allah is the one who knows everything. لا يضل ربي. My Lord, nothing goes astray from my Lord. He doesn't become oblivious of something. ولا ينسى, and Allah does not forget. All these people that you're talking about, there's some of them that you remember, there's some of them that you forget. Whereas with Allah, Allah knows every detail about them. Meaning, if they did good, Allah will reward them, and if they did bad, Allah will punish them accordingly. And here, subhanAllah, was amazing, is we find Musa alayhi salam giving the da'wah here. If you look at the ayat, we won't go into, the ayat are very similar, but what I find beautiful is that Musa alayhi salam, he gives the da'wah here of Pharaoh, gives the da'wah to Pharaoh, and it is in exact corroboration with the ayah that Allah revealed in the start of the Quran, the first ever time that Allah addresses someone. The first time that Allah addresses a people, who does He address? Does He address the believers? What's the first time Allah calls out in the Quran? In Surah Al-Baqarah. Ya ayyuhan nas. Ya ayyuhan nas. Not ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Allah addresses first and foremost all the people. And what is the address? U'budu rabbakum. To worship your Lord. And here look at the description. The one who created you and who created those before you, so that you may have taqwa. And He made the earth a place that you can reside upon, that you can walk upon. And the sky comes down with the rain to give you the produce, to give you nourishment, to give you your food, and for fruits that you can eat from. فَلَا تَجْعَلُوا لِلَّهِ أَنْدَادًا. So do not make partners with Allah. وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. And you know that Allah is the one who created. You know that Allah is the one who did all these things. So don't be the one who denies them. So here, subhanAllah, what is the point here? This is the first time that Allah addresses the people. And this is also when we look at the story of Musa alayhi salam, the first time he gives da'wah to Pharaoh, and when Pharaoh asks him, who is this Lord, Rabbul Alameen, and all this, this is exactly the description that he gives to show you that the da'wah of all the prophets is the same. At-Tawheed, come back to Allah, worship Allah. Why? Allah is the one who deserves to be worshipped. Yeah, subhanallah, Pharaoh, he continued to show his arrogance and disobey and disbelieve in Allah Jalla wa Ala. And here, what's interesting, what does Allah mention in the Quran? وَجَحَدُوا بِهَا. They disbelieved in the signs of Allah. They disbelieved in Allah Jalla wa Ala. وَاسْتَيْقَنَتْهَا. Even though deep inside they believed it. And wallahi, I say this with yaqeen. You know, the heads of atheism and those people who are the so-called intellects of atheism, I know that Allah, when Allah speaks, He speaks the truth. Allah said, وَجَحَدُوا بِهَا وَاسْتَيْقَنَتْهَا. They disbelieved in it, yet deep inside they know the truth. And wallahi, I'm telling you that they are so disingenuous. The reality is that they believe in Allah. The reality is that they know Allah exists. But it is down to, what is it down to? Is the preference of this dunya. It is either down to they don't want to lose power, they don't want to lose a thing. It's down to their egos, down to their arrogance, whatever it is. But the point is, the reality is that they're being so disingenuous. And I'll give you a very simple example. You know, the way they go is that, oh, but who created this and who created that? How do you know this? You didn't see that, you didn't see this. SubhanAllah, you know, it's ajib. If you tell them now, your son here that is in front of you, for example, this atheist, this is your son in front of you. Yeah, this is my son. How do you know this is your son? Did you do this? Did you do a DNA test? I did a DNA test. Oh, but did you check with the DNA and this to make sure that this doctor, did you check his qualifications? It's an endless cycle. Okay, after you checked his qualifications, are you sure it's him? Are you sure he didn't plagiarize, he didn't do this? And I can keep going down. You would never do that. You wouldn't do that when it comes to your normal day-to-day life. This is my son, I know, because he grew up in my, I know his mother, they grew up this, that. So he's not using that speculative thinking when it comes to his son. Yet when it comes to the universe, all of a sudden we become so speculative. And we start saying, oh no, but how do we know that this? And we start to make things so complicated. So this is how we know they're being disingenuous. Because with everything else in life, they're not doing this. Only when it comes to the question of about Allah, is Allah existing? That's when they want to use this speculative mind. So subhanallah, here this is, we believe yaqinan. Because Allah said it in the Quran, وَجَحَدُوا بِهَا. They disbelieve in it, وَاسْتَيْقَنَتْهَا. But in reality, they know that this is the truth. Why? ظُلْمًا وَعُلُوًّا. Out of dhulm, out of being transgressing, out of going beyond the bounds, or because of ulu, because of arrogance. Subhanallah. فَانظُرْ كَيْفَ كَانَ عَاقِبَةُ الْمُفْسِدِينَ. So look at what will be the ending of those people who are corrupt and evil in the land. Wallahu musta'an. But moving on, after continuing with this conversation that he has, when Musa ﷺ is mentioning this, what is the response of Pharaoh to his people? إِنَّ رَسُولَكُمُ الَّذِي أُرْسِلَ إِلَيْكُمْ لَمَجْنُونَ. Again, subhanallah, doing that thing that the previous nations did, making a mockery. Your prophet, look, he even calls Musa, your messenger, telling the people, your so-called messenger that has been sent to you, لَمَجْنُونَ. He's somebody that is insane. He's gone mad. Why is that? Because he's come with something that goes against the trend. Everybody's doing this. The sheep are all following one way. This one man decides to go against the trend. So what do they say? You're the madman. You're the one who's the anomaly. You're the one who's crazy. Everybody else is normal. Why? Because you're the only one that is going against the trend. We don't like that you're going against the trend. So what? Let's label you. Let's make people believe that you're somebody that shouldn't be followed. So here he refers to him as a mad person. And Musa is not fazed by this. What does he continue to say? رَبُّ الْمَشْرِقِ وَالْمَغْرِبِ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا إِن كُنْتُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ. He is the Lord of the what is in the west and what is in the east and what is between them, if you are people who use your intellect. So Musa ﷺ, he didn't have time to, and this is an important message for when you give da'wah. Don't lower yourself to the standards of them. They will use mockery, they will abuse, they will label and name call, but you don't need to go down to that level. You give the da'wah. Some people, unfortunately, they get down to this level where when you're giving a da'wah, you start to become, a name calling and abusive and start to, make mockery of the other person and how he looks and so on. Look at Musa ﷺ. Get on with the da'wah. Those that are seeking the truth will listen to you and they will follow. But those who are going to deny and disbelieve, you can swear at them and insult them till tomorrow and it's not going to change. So here this is what we learn from Prophet Musa ﷺ in the da'wah, to stick with the mission that Allah has given you. Call the people to Allah and leave off all this mockery and insulting. This is for them. Don't lower yourself to their standards. طيب. Now what happens when Pharaoh realizes that he's unable to deal with the arguments that Musa ﷺ has put forward? So what does he say? لَإِنِ اتَّخَذْتَ إِلَهًا غَيْرِي لَأَجْعَلَنَّكَ مِنَ الْمَسْجُونِينَ. Now it's time to use my power and authority. If you deny me to be your Lord, if you want to continue worshipping Allah, then I will make you from those who are thrown in. I will throw you into prison. I will use my authority over you and make you low and unable to do anything. So here again, this is again the way of those who are oppressed. When they are unable to deal with the argumentation, when they are unable to respond back to the ayat that has been presented to them, they will result to using violence and threatening. So this is what Pharaoh does. He threatens Musa ﷺ. And at this time, what does Musa say? قَالَ أَوَلَوْ جِئْتُكَ بِشَيْءٍ مُبِينٍ. Now he presents. Now when Pharaoh has used all his cards, nothing else up his sleeve, Musa ﷺ says, what about if I bring you a clear sign? So Pharaoh says, فَأْتِ بِهِ إِن كُنْتَ مِنَ الصَّادِقِينَ. Bring this if you're truthful. Pharaoh is trying to see if he's pulling his leg, as they say. Is he serious? Does he really think that there's going to bring a sign that we are going to believe that he's a prophet? And so, فَأَلْقَى عَصَاهُ فَإِذَا هِيَ ثُعْبَانٌ مُبِينٌ وَنَزَعَ يَدَهُ فَإِذَا هِيَ بَيْضَاءُ لِلنَّاظِرِينَ. The two ayat that Allah gave him, which we mentioned in the previous part, that he threw down his staff and it became a great snake, and he placed his hand in his jayb, inside his garment, and when he took it out, it was perfectly white for all of them to see, illuminous. The light had come from his hand. So these were the two signs that Musa alayhi salam showed to Pharaoh. Here I was trying to mention something. Why didn't Musa alayhi salam, it's a very important question, why didn't Musa alayhi salam begin with this in the first place? Why didn't he just come, here's my snake? Why did he start off in the manner that he did? That's very important. Huh? Dawah, yeah. To establish the evidence against him. Why? Because Musa alayhi salam, his purpose is not to, and this is where the common folk go wrong, where they think that the purpose is to see miracles. And we talked about this in the hadith of hadith number 38 in Imam al-Nawawi about the wali of Allah. We know that the wali of Allah is the one who follows the Quran and the Sunnah, the one who loves Allah and His Messenger, not necessarily the one who has all these fancy miracles that go against the laws of physics. This is not necessarily the wali of Allah. So Musa alayhi salam, he begins with primarily telling the people, this is what Allah has come with. This is enough for you to accept La ilaha illallah. But if you need more convincing, then I have come with ayat from Allah. So the point is, primarily it's not about the miracles. Primarily it's about the message that resonates with you. It's from your natural disposition to believe in Allah and to want to worship Allah. So resonate with that. And these ayat are a means of you seeing the truth. And that is why Imam al-Shafi'i, what did he say? He said, وَاللَّهِ لَوْ رَأَيْتُمْ رَجُلًا يَمْشِي عَلَى الْمَاءِ أَوْ يُطِيرُ فِي الْهَوَاءِ فَلَا تَعْتَبِرُوا حَتَّى تُعْرِضُوا أَمْرَهُ إِلَى الْكِتَابِ وَالسُّنَّةِ. He said, if you see a man walking on water, can a person walk on water? Not possible. If you see a man flying in the sky, can a person fly in the sky? Not possible. He said, if you see these things, don't believe him. Don't accept him straight away. Don't think that this man is a special person until you match what he calls to, what he is upon, with the Quran and the Sunnah. If it matches, this is a karamah from Allah. But if not, then this is a trick from the trickery of a shaitan. But here, this is why Musa alayhi salam presented first. These are the proofs that Allah has given to you. That Allah is the creator. Allah is the one who brought you into existence. Allah is the one who sustains you. And now look, these are the things that Allah is showing you. That the one who created such things is able to change and do as he pleases with the creation. So here this was Musa alayhi salam showing to the people these signs for them to believe in Allah Jalla wa Ala. And here it's interesting when we finish off on this inshallah. What is interesting is that Allah gives to every nation signs from that which they were familiar with. So for example, with Musa alayhi salam, the people were familiar with sorcery, witchcraft, and magic. So Allah gave signs to Musa alayhi salam that are far greater than these things, as we're going to come to inshallah in the next part. Why? Because the people, they know these things well. They know about magic, they know about this. So when they see something that's far greater, it's believable. Allah gives them a sign that they cannot deny. At the time of Isa alayhi salam, people were fascinated with what? With trying to be able to heal the sick and the poor and those who have these permanent illnesses, or trying to revive the dead. So Isa alayhi salam, what was his miracles that Allah had given him? That he was able to heal those people and even bring the dead to life with the permission of Allah. At the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and continuing throughout, the people were amazed by speech, by poetry, by being able to use your tongue. And that's why the Quran came to show the people. And subhanallah, there is no longer anything needed after the Quran, because throughout people are going to be the people of that are going to see that who can bring the strongest arguments. So the Quran itself is our miracle that is everlasting. Whereas the miracles that came before, they were for a certain time period and they ended. But the miracle of the Quran is that it is everlasting until Yawm al-Qiyamah. So this is just to show you how Allah gives each nation that which they seek. When they want to see signs, that which they seek for. Inshallah. So we'll finish there, inshallah, and we'll continue next week with this incident that happens between Musa alayhi salam and Pharaoh, and going into the magicians. هذا وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.